All right. So thank you guys for coming. This is our Disability Advocates or DDH Advocates Workshop. This is the fourth workshop. And on this slide, it says Advocates Workshop, hashtag DDH 2026. And in the middle on the screen here, we have the Disability Down the Hill logo. It says Adventures, DDH 2026, Adventures in Access. And on the bottom, it says Tennessee. And that logo is it's like a badge. And then to the right of that, we have our Disability Day on the Hill logo that is on the top. It has some word bubbles, and in the middle of that, an image that represents the like the Tennessee Legislature building. And it says Disability Day on the Hill and hosted by Tennessee Disability Coalition on the bottom. And I'm going to move to the next slide if it will let me. Okay, so going over some housekeeping. So to turn on your captions, there's an image here. If you go to the bottom of your screen and select the CC button on the bottom, then you can select turn on captions. Once you select that, if you want to, several options will come up. You can get a transcript as well, or where it shows the captions on another screen. And if anyone has any trouble locating the CC button or getting those captions, please let us know. I'm going to introduce some wonderful ladies, but I've got some helpers today. But put it in the chat or just come off of mute and we'll help you. I'm going to go to the next slide. So we also have a American Sign Language or ASL interpreter here tonight. Summer, she's been with us for all of these and we're so lucky to have her. If you need ASL interpretation, if you will click over or hover over her picture, it says interpreter. There are three little dots in the upper right hand corner. If you click on that and push pin or select pin, you will see Summer on your screen as well. And again, if anybody has any trouble getting that done or needs any help, please let us know. And I will give folks just a second to get that done. Okay, and I'm going to go to the next slide here. All right, introductions. So y'all are probably tired of seeing and hearing me right through this. My name is Carrie Carlson. Pronouns are she, her. I heard today that I'm a little too old to say middle-aged. So I'm an older white female with I don't know, it's pink, brown, red hair. I have a black shirt on, and I'm sitting in front of a blue and white blurred background. And I do kind of have a tree behind me that you can see. Um, and I'm going to go in order. So I'm going to pass it to the wonderful Chrissy Hood.
Hi, this is Chrissy Hood. My pronouns are she and her. I am an older, grayish blonde, little past my shoulder length hair. I am wearing a green sweater with a blurred background, and I'm excited to be here. And I'll pass it off to Melissa.
Thank you, Chrissy. I'm Melissa Estes. My pronouns are she, her. I am also an older female. I have a black and white flannel shirt on and black glasses. And I also have a blurred background. And I am very excited to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you, ladies, so much. And my black background is blurred because you guys might see my crazy dogs walking in and out of here tonight. So I went to the next screen. So tonight's agenda, we're going to talk all about what your day at Disability Day on the Hill might look like, right? It's because it's going to look different for everyone that's there. We're going to have a Q&A as always. But I want to remind everyone that if you have questions, please come off of mute. Um, Raise your hand, however you feel comfortable. You can put it in the chat, whatever works for you. But please ask questions. And then we're gonna have some reminders at the end. And I'm gonna go to the next slide here. Okay, so this says YouTube or Instagram video, right? So you can go on both. I'm going to click on this link and I hope it cooperates and I can share this with you. But if you go to Instagram or Facebook and put in the at TN Disability, it will bring up the Tennessee Disability Coalition's page. So you can also watch these on your own if you'd like. And I did send them out ahead of time via email. So let's see. I'm going to hope that this works for me.
Hey everyone, I'm Melissa Estes, TDC's Membership Engagement Coordinator, and I am so excited to walk you through what your day at Disability Day on the Hill might look like. When you arrive at Cordell Hull, you'll enter through the main entrance. If you need the accessible entrance, follow the signs to the left of the main doors. Once inside, the first stop is security. You'll empty your pockets, place items like keys and wallets in a bin, and send your bags through the scanner. The security officers at Cordell Hull are very friendly and happy to help if you have any questions. The level you enter on is called the ground floor. On this floor, you'll also find an adult-sized changing table and a few single-stall restrooms. After security, you'll want to head up to the first floor. You can take either the stairs or the elevator to get there. On one side of the elevator on the first floor, you'll find the exhibit space next to the grab and go station. This is where we will have volunteers, maps, and masks available if you need them. On the other side of the elevators on the first floor, you'll find the House and Senate hearing rooms. This is where you can watch committee meetings that are taking place. On the second floor is the Tennessee Comptroller Suite and Volunteer Conference Room. This is where our lunch and workshop will take place. To get there, go to the second floor and follow the yellow brick road, or in this case, the signs that say Comptroller Suite and TDC. On the 8th floor is a free-for-all open space. If you have time to kill or just need a minute to rest and regroup, this space can be a great option. You'll have already scheduled your meetings, so when it's time to meet with your legislators, you'll head to their office. Once you arrive, check in with the legislator's staff and start advocating. As a reminder, the halls of Cordell Hull can get crowded and a bit loud at times, especially between committee hearings, so be sure to take care of yourself. Disability Day on the Hill is all about showing up as the disability community in Tennessee, making our voices heard, and advocating for a better state for everyone. I can't wait to see you all there.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions about that? And I'm going to add that there are more videos coming out. As we were getting on today, I learned that, oh, and this is Carrie, I apologize. I learned that the one for the Adventure Science Center is on our Instagram page, and I will send the link out for that as well. But if anyone has any questions, I'll pause, I'll stop talking for a second. And I'm going to give this over to Chrissy and Melissa because I want them to fill you all in with any, you guys in with any things that I did were not in the video that y'all want to mention about Cordell Hall, getting in, all that good stuff.
I thought that I would kind of turn it over more to Chrissy since she's been there before. I was very happy I got to go with Chrissy, Hannah, and Elena and to see where we would be going because this is my first time that I will have been there. Well, now the second time because I went and did the walkthrough. But Chrissy and Elena, they knew where they were going. And when I have questions, I know I'll be asking them. And I hope to be more helpful next year once I've got one under my belt.
This is Chrissy. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have about any part of getting to and getting in and around Cordell Hull. Feel free to come off mute if you have a question.
Chrissy, I have a question for you because I have not, I've had this question asked for me a couple of times and I could not find the response anywhere on the website. And you might be able to answer this for us. So, um, are parents allowed to bring snacks in for their children? Do you know the answer to that?
Yes. We bring snacks in for Elena. I'm sorry, this is Chrissy. We bring snacks in for Elena in her, which we carry her backpack with all of her things in it. So there are additional snacks that we pack for her. But yes, we do bring snacks in. I know people have brought water bottles in, so that's not an issue. So just bring what you feel like you need for the day.
This is Carrie. Thank you. And how I know that the security guards are extremely helpful. It's okay, we can't hear. And how is there any type of like can provide assistance to Elena getting through security, right? They don't have any problems with that.
This is Chrissy. Yes, they are extremely helpful with Elena. In fact, most of them know her by name now. In the video, as Melissa was pointing to to the elevators, there's actually a security guard talking to Elena and I standing in the hallway, just because he remembers her. But they're very helpful. If I need to help her go through, then they're fine with me helping her.
This is Carrie. Thank you. Um, I appreciate that. I thought so, but I've had people ask me and I could not say 100% yes or no for that. So thank you.
You're welcome. This is Chrissy again. You're welcome. Another thing that I will add is if you're wearing bracelets and watches, medals, they do ask that you take those off. Sometimes the men have to take their belts off, but not. I can't remember if my husband has to do it every time, or if I'm just thinking about airport security that he has to every single time. But keep in mind, you're going to have to put your bags and your electronics down for just a minute, and then you can pick them right back up.
This is Melissa. I see a question in the comments. Crystal Miller says, where is the best place to park for someone who has difficulty walking? Chrissy, do you mind answering that?
Sure, this is Chrissy. So honestly, I will say there's not a best place to park. There are street parking spots available. However, they're typically full or they are typically marked as you can't park there because there's an event happening at Municipal Auditorium. We park at the We Go parking transit where the buses are coming in and out, which is honestly, it's going to be about a block and a half to a 2 block walk. And that's where we typically park to go in. We walk down and then we walk into Cordell Hull. Now, I will tell you that anywhere you park downtown is going to cost you. I know that I parked in the We Go parking the day we went and did the video. We were there a little over an hour and it was over $20 for my parking. So it does get expensive. My suggestion would be, depending on where you're going to be, if you're going to come in the night before and stay in a hotel, you might want to consider Ubering over because I feel like it's probably going to be cheaper to Uber back and forth, and they can drop you off right at the door. Does that answer your question, Crystal?
It does. So I am staying in a hotel. Is it okay to leave my car at the hotel while I Uber over? I'm just don't want him towing my car away.
This
Okay.
is Chrissy. I typically what I do is I let them know at the hotel desk. If I'm checking out, I will let them know I'm checking out, but I'm going to my destination and I'm leaving my car here. Usually they don't have a problem. They may have you put an additional, depending on how they charge for parking, they may have you put an additional thing in your window or hang something on your mirror. But typically when you let them know, they're fine with it. That was a
Thank,
great question.
thank you.
This is Carrie. Yeah, that was a good question. I've run into that question myself, and the hotel was very accommodating. So yeah. Um, well, if no one has any more questions for this one, I'm gonna go to the next one. And Chrissy and Melissa are just gonna, I'm gonna, they're gonna help me throughout this whole presentation. So we're just gonna go to the next. Oh, next. Did I go too far? No, next one. Okay, t-shirts. Free t-shirts. Yay! And I don't know if I was supposed to show this picture, but I stole this picture from Tom sent it to me, so I put it on here so you guys get to see the t-shirt. No, he probably doesn't care. So it says, did somebody oh, I can't even see this. Um, did somebody say free t-shirts? That's what it says, yes. Sorry, I'm having one of those days, guys. So in the bottom or middle right on the screen is a circle, and we have two different t-shirt colors. So there is a, I think he called it pewter, which I had to Google to be honest with you. So it's a lighter gray t-shirt, and it has the Access Adventures in Access Disability Day on the Hill logo in the middle. And then on the right hand side is a darker blue t-shirt, and it does have the Adventures and Access Disability Down the Hill logo in that one as well. The volunteers will be wearing the lighter pewter, or as I'm calling gray, t-shirt. So that is how people will be able to identify the volunteers. And as I've said on here, we have the nicest volunteers ever. So you will actually probably notice their smile and their clipboard before the t-shirt. But that is, those are the t-shirts. So you guys get to see those, and you will be able to get your t-shirt at the community party and at Disability Day on the Hill. Chrissy, Melissa, anything, and I know Deidre's on here too, anything else about the t-shirts?
This is
Seeing no.
Chrissy. I can't think of anything. As long as you're registered until while supplies last, you'll have a t-shirt.
This is Carrie. Very good point. Because I know some people, don't register, but we do order extra, but not a ton of them. But we have had years where I've given my T-shirt to somebody, so they had a T-shirt. While supplies last, yes.
This is Christopher. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I registered for this course or seminars through Lead K, and I'm not sure if I registered or not.
For Disability Day on the Hill.
Yeah. So I was talking to a lady by with Lead K about. She took my name down for Disability on the Hill Day, and I was to volunteer through 1 to 3 p.m. But and then she had me go to these links to register for the courses or the seminars, so I don't know much more than that.
Okay. Christopher, what
Yes.
I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask Leah or Chrissy or Deidre to write your name down, and we'll make sure that you're registered for DDH, okay? And I have your email address, So if not, can I email you if we need to get you registered?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, thank you. That will probably be the easiest way to make sure you're registered.
All right, great.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay. So I know that we mentioned that we did not have a secured quiet space for Disability Day on the Hill. Well, I know you guys have heard me say Deidre's name a couple of times. Deidre made sure that we had a secured quiet space for at Cordell Hall for Disability Day on the Hill this year. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Deidre. And that quiet space, if you enter on that second floor, right where you enter, you will pass through security, go through the glass doors, and then turn left. And that's before you go to the elevators, right? Right before that lobby. And once you turn left, the small conference room is at the very end of the hallway, and it's the Rocky Top conference room. It is labeled, and there will be volunteers who can help you get to that space. I'm sure Kirsty probably knows exactly where that is, don't you? Am I describing that accurately? If you don't know where it is, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
This is Chrissy. I think you did a fabulous job.
thank you. This is Carrie. Only for my directions that Deidre sent me. So thank you, Deidre. And then when you're trying to get from that quiet space, that Rocky Top conference room, to get to they called it the VCC, which that is the comptroller's room, right? So to get to there, you're gonna turn right at the Rocky Top conference room, and it is at the end of that hallway. Again, we will have, we'll have people who can help and guide you. So if you can't find that, please come get somebody with one of those pewter or gray. Um, that's my new word of the week. T-shirts on, and we'll help you get there. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I'll go to the next slide. All right, so the Disability Day on the Hill workshops. I know we've talked about this. On this slide is a picture of, I remembered his name, Thomas. I don't know why I could not remember his name, but Thomas is on the right-hand side. He is a young man with dark hair. He has got a Disability Day on the Hill t-shirt on from last year. And he is standing there looking down at his Groku that he made at the workshop. And I love this picture because I wanted the Groku, but it was not for me. It was for his legislator. So I did not get the Groku, but I wanted one. But this is an example of some pretty amazing leave behinds that individuals made for their legislators. But at the workshop, we will have the Polaroid picture station. And Chrissy, you mastered that last year. Do you want to talk about that?
This is Chrissy. I only mastered it thanks to some of the Able Voices participants because I was holding the camera upside down and they came and said, no, turn it over. So it is a lot of fun. We enjoy taking your photos, and then you can take those photos and stick them on what you're doing. And it's a nice keepsake if you're not planning to take something to your legislator. And of course, everything that we're doing here is all free.
This is Carrie. Good point. Yes, we're not charging for any of this. Yes. So the Polaroids, as we did last year, we'll have some all about me sheets. Our wonderful communications person Hannah, she's still putting those together, but those will be printed out. It will have key things on there. We will have thank you cards as we did last year. Last year, we did thank you cards for Representative Hale, who had worked on a lot of disability specific legislation with us. But this year, we're doing thank you cards for the comptroller because this is the fourth year that they have graciously allowed us to use this space for Disability Day on the Hill to have a place to convene and come together as a community and have somewhere to have lunch. The comptroller's conference room is where lunch will be. So we're gonna have a box that Mandeep, her and her kiddos are making that thank you box this year. Thank you, Mandeep. And we are so we're doing that. We'll have a networking station. And then we'll have some badges, and those badges are for these different stations, right? So if you meet a new friend, and there will be big posters around that kind of really describes these a little bit better. I had a picture, but I couldn't convert it to put on here, and it was a lot. But it's for doing a leave behind, getting a picture with your legislator, uh, doing a thank you card. So you can get all these different badges that are, I think they're stickers that you can put on your shirts, or just take them with you. But does anybody else have anything to add about the workshops or have any questions about the workshops? Day of. No? Okay. I'll go to the next slide. Okay, so meetings. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. My dogs. Um, if you have not scheduled your meetings yet, this slide says get those meetings scheduled. And as I mentioned on the call last time, yes, Disability Day on the Hill is about speaking with your legislator. But if this is your first year, or maybe your 10th year, and that's not for you, that's okay too. Like, I'm not pressuring you, but if you're coming to talk to your legislator, get those meetings scheduled because they're filling up fast. I know they are. And if you've reached out to your legislator, but you have not heard back, this is coming from Beth, who is our admin at TDC, and she is the one who for many years scheduled hundreds of appointments. So I'm taking this advice and thanking her for it. She said to call them and email their legislative assistants. And I put CC their legislator, and that's just a little difference between Beth and I, right? As I told y'all, my legislator knows me, so I always copy him. But she said just to make sure that you're reaching out to that assistant because they are the ones that schedule those appointments a lot of times. And if you cannot find their email address on their website, then this Becky White and their email address would be becky.white@capital.tn.gov. Beth put that in there because that is the way that I'm going to say 99% of the email addresses are labeled. I have seen a couple different ones, just somebody might have had the same name in the past. So something may, I've seen like a 1 in there or something. But if their email address is not on the website, this is a pretty good lead as to what their email address is going to be. Does anyone have any questions or advice? Or I know scheduling meetings can be intimidating, calling. So if anybody has anything.
This is Chrissy. I will say that when you go to email your legislator, when you find them on the website, it doesn't actually have their email address spelled out for you. You click on email legislator and then it will open it up. For me, it opens it up into Outlook, which I do not use. So then I have to copy and paste it into my Gmail, which is the account I do use. So it is a little bit confusing and a little difficult to navigate, but just wanted to make sure that you weren't looking for an at capital.tn.gov on there and not able to find it or locate it.
This is Carrie. Christy, that's a good point. Thank you. And some of them you can right click and copy the email address. Not all of them, but some of them. So sometimes I have to do the workaround. I'll put that on Google in the Google folder too, because that's a good point.
This is Christopher. As far as dress code for the party and the day of the hill, should guys wear suit and ties, or is a suit jacket and a shirt acceptable, or what do you think the protocol is?
This is Carrie. I'm sorry. Christopher, whatever you are comfortable in. I will tell you though that this is probably one of the only days that I will tell people going to Cordell Hall to meet with the legislator that you can wear your Disability Day on the Hill t-shirt. And that is perfectly acceptable. But if you want to wear a suit and tie, I mean, you're going to see legislators and, people that work at Cordell Hall dressed in, suits, ties, dresses. And other community members will come dressed that way too. I'm wearing my t-shirt with some comfy pants and my tennis shoes because I'll be walking around all day long. And the
Okay,
same thing for the community party.
good to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Sorry. Okay, we'll go to the next slide here. Okay, so I put some helpful documents in the Google Drive. And this slide says advocacy. And that is a document that is all about advocacy. This is hyperlinked. I'm not going to click on that right now because I want you all to go and look at it. And if I click on it, I have to read all of it, and it's a lot. But it is some bullets about advocacy and why it is important. And then how to tell your story. I don't know if anybody from that's on this call attended these last year, but we broke down really nicely kind of how that might look in terms of how long you should take to introduce yourself, how long you should take to tell your story, and what you should make sure that you outline in telling your story to your legislator. Because a lot of people don't realize that these meetings are fast. If you get 15 minutes, that is a long meeting. However, and Chrissy has these stories too. Sometimes you have to tell your legislator, I have another meeting I have to go to. So sometimes, they run over. But any other advice on those meetings and telling your story? I know there's some really good experts in the room. Any questions? Yeah.
I'll share. My name is Elizabeth. I'm a European American, fancy word for Caucasian/white. Here's Dolphine, my daughter. I'm a caregiver. We went last year and had a great time speaking with both our representatives. And then my husband was able to speak to one of the committees about Papa, about family paid caregiving act. And so that was a really wonderful experience. Everyone was super kind. We scheduled by phone in advance our appointments. We brought them a small bouquet,
And my dog.
2 roses and a hydrangea and a water pick.
Dog and cat.
So 3 water picks and then some greenery. So and then a red, white, and blue ribbon tied around it with a thank you note. So very small gift to hand out, but something personable, and that they can use for themselves. But anyways, we had a great time. I do have a question with regard to advocacy. I know we're talking about self-advocacy, but I really very much interested in the system advocacy, and I was wondering if we can have any known literature about the Family Paid Giving Care Act. Let me know where it's at in the process of committee, and I will report that to my reps. And also, I want to know, and this is all like email me later, no big deal. I want to know about the incomplete for the Tennessee Disability Report Card. I actually used the 2004 and 2003 report card to teach a continuing education unit for the nurses, any nurse, any RN that was accredited through the American Nurse Credential Center. So I actually got nurses to listen to my story, our advocacy story, utilizing the legislative system and our active politicians. I used it to help educate them, and they were able to get credits, to keep their license and all that good stuff. Well, since there's an incomplete, I would like to know why there's an incomplete. Are they not providing the data? Is the data compromised? I imagine it's the state's fault for not complying, because obviously I know we would do our due diligence to assess them. So I would like to know why there's a disruption in sharing of our resources and taxpayer dollars. Like, what is going on? I'd love to know, and so I can share that with them, because I was hoping to do this exact same thing, and it's quite embarrassing that we couldn't even finish the report card. I'm assuming we failed again, but we got an incomplete, so we'll just see, like maybe we're doing great things and they're just withholding that information from us, right? So please give me feedback with regard to that, and I'd love to address it. And we really appreciate you guys and all your hard work, and thank you so much.
This is Carrie. Thank you. So Elizabeth, the scorecard is not an incomplete because we didn't finish the scorecard. The scorecard is an incomplete because with all the uncertainty at the federal level, the state got an incomplete. So we will, I don't, I know that I sent you the email late today. In the email, and I'll send it to you again, Carol Westlake really breaks down the scorecard pretty good in a YouTube video that she does. But I'll also send the talking points for that as well. And we will be sending out talking points for Disability Day on the Hill. I believe they said next week we'll send those out. But really clear, easy talking points for things like the Family Caregiving Act. So we will get those out to y'all though. Thank you. And can I mention too that Elizabeth and her family, they are also the ones who graciously presented Representative Hale last year with all the thank you cards that were made at the workshop. So yes, thank you for that. And it was he really enjoyed that. He was in tears, so thank you. It was nice. So, but yes, we will send those out. Any questions, comments? I'll go to the next one. Okay, so the next slide, no meeting scheduled, that's okay. And this slide is basically about scheduling a meeting the day of, if that is something that you need to do. Maybe we'll have committee hearings, and maybe you see a piece of legislation that you want to talk to a legislator about. Maybe you want to try and schedule a meeting with them. It can be doable, right? If you go by their office and ask their assistant, maybe run into them if they have room in their calendar to see you. Tell them why you're there and what you want to talk to them about. You'll probably get better luck if you're in support of legislation that they're trying to pass, but they might also talk to you if you just want to talk to them about legislation as well. So, and if you can't schedule a meeting with them, you can leave them information in their office. And then I would suggest to follow up with them afterwards. And it says down here, meeting your legislator in the community as possible. And they do like that. They like being invited to events. They like it when you come to events. Does Chrissy, do you have anything? I know that you're very in touch with your legislators. Do you have anything else for this one?
This is Chrissy. The first year that we attended Disability Day on the Hill, we did a leave behind, and it just consisted of a sheet of paper that had Elena's photo on it, and it just talked about her, what she liked to do, how she liked to be in her community. And it had photos of her doing different things. And we call her Elena Bug. So we made it a ladybug theme, and she wore a ladybug looking dress. And we just left that behind. But at the time, we were also working on the adult changing tables. And so we had one pagers about that. So we just stopped by the office and said, "Hi, my name is Chrissy Hood. Can I please leave this with you? Would you mind looking over it?" And then we were in and out really quick. So they were great to do that. Addressing meeting your legislator in the community and inviting them. We invite our local legislators to attend our spring games for Special Olympics. What better way to see some of the population that we want to make sure that they are thinking about when they're passing these laws? So anytime you can invite them to anything, do so. We invite them to, Elena plays Miracle League Baseball, and we invite our legislators to come watch her play ball. So you're going to see them out in the community as you get to know them, especially if you're in a smaller community, you'll see them more. But don't hesitate to walk up and talk to them when you see them, because they do want to talk to you.
This is Carrie. I will add also, it's a major election year for legislators too, right? So they do like getting support within their community and going to those things. So thank you, Chrissy. Any questions about that? No? Okay. All right. So this is I wanted to make sure that I put everything that I intended to put into the slide tonight. So, oh, lunch. Yes. See, I forgot lunch. On this, it says DDH, t-shirts, check. We did the t-shirts. The quiet space, yes, we went over the quiet space. We went over meetings. I did not tell y'all about lunch. Lunch will be served in the comptroller's conference room. Deidre, is that still at 11? I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm sorry. 11:30?
Deidre had to jump
Oh,
off.
okay. I think it's 11:30. It's usually 11:30. And that is catered in sandwiches from Jason's Deli. Yes, Jason's Deli. I remember. I keep wanting to say Jimmy John's because I love Jimmy John's. I like Jason's too. But lunch is catered in, and that's why we want people to register. So we make sure that we have enough food and t-shirts. So lunch, went over the workshop. I did go over the badges, leave behinds, meetings. Oh, and committee hearings. We heard today on our um, membership call that several committee hearings might be happening during DDH that do have a focus on disability. And I'm going to rely on Melissa to make sure my memory is working. I believe Lead K was going to be heard that day.
That was one of them.
Yes, and the National Federation of the Blind for their news outlet that was defunded. They're trying to get funding back for that. That was one of them, I believe. and also legislation about, I don't remember, I'm sorry, but several pieces of legislation. We'll have a list of them so you can pick, and it will have the times also on there. But does anyone know of any other committee hearings that might be happening on the 25th? If you can't think of it right now, you guys have my email address, or you can put it in the chat also. So I'm gonna go to the next slide. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I know there has to be some questions. No? No questions? Oh my goodness. Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually have this is Christopher. I actually have a question.
Okay.
So I was invited because Lee K of Tennessee is promoting their House of Representatives Bill 1957, which talks about language for all deaf and hard of hearing children. Uh, so I'm a little bit. I guess I need to circle back with them to see how to, do that for Disability Day on the Hill, or just kind of lead by example and go there with my own uh, thoughts about the bill, and 'cause I've seen a draft copy of it, so I know it's in there. Uh, just not sure who to follow at the moment. So I know that's a good question to ask, but maybe I'll get back with the UK and see what they have to say.
This is Carrie. Christopher, yes, they actually talked about that on the membership call. Melissa, did you have something to say about that? I'm sorry. You're on mute.
No, all I was going to say is that the things that the committees are following, or the hearings that would be going on, Carol and Sarah also said they would have that in the handout that we'll, get to them next week.
Yes, thank you. This is Carrie, sorry. But Christopher, yes, Lead K is something that we talked about today, and we're watching that legislation. And we will have some talking points at Disability Day on the Hill that might be, good for you to come by and get. And it's looking promising. It's really good legislation to track literacy. And I'm not going to do it justice. I apologize. Track literacy for children who are deaf and hard of hearing, which is something that they don't do right now and they need to start doing. So there's a lot of support for it, and that's something that we'll be pushing at Disability Day on the Hill, definitely.
Okay, well, thank you for your input.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? We do have a couple minutes. Melissa came. This is Carrie. Sorry. I do have the registration for Disability Day on the Hill here, and you all will get this presentation, and it has hyperlinks, but I'll also have the link for you also. So there's the registration for Disability Day on the Hill, and then arriving soon in your inbox. Right? You guys thought tomorrow was your last email from me. Well, I'm going to send out more details. You're going to get the link for the video of the Adventure Science Center. It wasn't ready yet today. Well, when I looked, so it didn't get in here, but it will have that. We also have the menu for the community party at the Adventure Science Center. And we will get the talking points for Disability Day on the Hill out. You will get an updated bill tracker that has, each week legislation moves or it doesn't, and the calendar changes. So you'll get the updated legislation and a new calendar. And then the week of Disability Day on the Hill, you will also get um, those bills, hopefully, and the calendar. We will have that stuff available at Disability Day on the Hill, so you will get the committee hearings that are happening that day. So you will get updates from me, especially tracking legislation and things that we might be advocating for on that day. I'm going to go to the next slide. This is a blue slide that says thank you towards the bottom in white letters. And I'm going to go to this really fast just because I know people are interested in the menu for the community party. So we will have a nacho bar. They're vegetarian options and it's gluten-free. Mac and cheese bar, barbecue pulled chicken, barbecue pulled pork, creamy coleslaw with a vegetarian and gluten-free option, a garden salad, vegetarian and gluten-free. We will have fresh rolls, mini desserts, and they may include, we're not sure, cookies, brownies, dessert bars, excuse me, and fruit. And it will include gluten-free and vegetarian desserts for 35 guests. We will have citrus punch, unsweet tea, water, and then as always at Disability Day on the Hill, there will be that open bar. You get 2 drink tickets. Sometimes people find some on the floor. I don't know what to do with those. So 2 drink tickets that you can use at the bar. And that is all that I have for you guys tonight. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if I answered everyone's questions, that's amazing. But you guys can always email me if you have questions that come up afterwards. Or does anyone have any? I know we've got some experts on this call. Does anyone have anything that I did not share that needed to be shared? No? Okay. Well, if that's it, I'll let y'all go. And Summer, thank you for interpreting. Oh, couldn't have done it without you. Ladies, thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you, everyone. This is Christopher.
This is Carrie. Thank you, Christopher. All right. I'm going to stop recording.